Hello everyone, it's Shadow Vixen, and welcome back to the channel where we make games harder than they need to be. Today, we're doing a challenge run for Arcane Odyssey, where we're going to be using Arcanium only. Now, if you know anything about Arcane Odyssey, that might sound a little off to you, but hold your horses, we'll get into that in a minute. Right now, let's go over the rules of this challenge. First, I can only use Arcanium weapons, as this is kind of the main reason I'm doing this challenge, to see how good they are. And two, I can only use Arcanium armor as well. Another third rule I add later on, because I didn't think about it, is that I can only use the Arcanium cannons and mortars and ram as well if I ever got them. Really just, if I want to damage something or protect myself, it has to be the Arcanium stuff. This challenge might seem a little easier compared to the other ones, but trust me, it took me nearly as long as any of the other ones, and honestly, I had a lot of fun figuring out the Arcanium weapons with this one. And if you guys do enjoy it as much as I did, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and maybe comment down below what challenge run you want me to do next, and maybe I'll do it. But without dragging this on too long, let's get into the challenge. Upon waking up, I woke up on this strange island from some weird force, like many of the other Arcane games, and I went to go say hi to my best friend. Oh, sorry, Morden's my friend too. The magic I decided to choose for this run would be wood, because it just had the most plain and simple effective Arcanium stats. And, I mean, can't really go wrong with wood, honestly. I, of course, gave my character the part, and we look, well, like wood. I do my normal search of the first island and Elm Island to level up and get some resources before making my way to Redrake and saying hi to Estrid. Now, she was pretty scared as always, but no worry, we can help her overcome her bitch baby stuff, and we can take down these pirates for her. Wait. How do I do that? Oh, I'll just transfer some Arcanium stuff from my main file, because I'm not going to sit here and grind from chests. Oh, they can only drop when you're level 100. Wait. No. You need to be level 100 to equip. Now, I don't really know how to make this next part interesting. So, why don't we make a song about it?
It's time to grind to level 100. 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 I grab all these damn XP barrels, pump they explode on my rowboat. So I gotta fish till I can make it. Buy sell bro so I can level it.
Now I'm level 10, I can do some quests. All of these barrels, it's just not burial. All these people, they're just pests. Now I'm almost done. Screw this test.
It's time to grind to 100. This part took really long. It's time to grind to 100. This took 4.5 hours. No, I'm serious. Like, just getting to level 100 literally took half the run.
Finally, now that we're level 100, and as you saw earlier, I got myself an Arcanium weapon, we're ready to actually start playing the game. So our first boss was Shura, which I tryharded on. Then Iris accidentally came out as a lesbian for how much I could not touch her with my wood. Loki had a fun fight with Elias. then beat up an old man. It's not rude, he said it himself. Oh, and I almost forgot about Karina. She was a little spicy at me for that. After beating a woman, General Julian found me and they must have some sort of weird love relationship going on because then he filled me up with his glass. Not in a good way.
I am Steve. As a child, I yearned for the mines.
I am Jasper Darkwood. As a child, I yearned for... Okay, I'm sorry. Is this joke getting overused? Nothing really changes for the mines. It's just the mines. So, moving up onto Calvis. Keep in mind, I still have no armor. I only have these 3 Arcanium weapons. I, for the life of me, could not find any armor, and I ran out of money to buy any. So, just keep that in mind during this fight. Not gonna lie. That fight stressed me the hell out. And I don't know why. Next, we beat up a baby, and then it was time to go to Windrow. And I had Arcanium cannons at this point, but for some reason, they just weren't firing. Except I eventually learned the reason I didn't have magic storage. I've never really used Arcanium cannons, so this was a learning experience for me. But there are other methods to make the sailboat sink. So after that, we went to Windrow. It was talking to Ren, and then we had to go awaken. While awakening, I actually got some Arcanium stuff finally, and I even bought some from the auction because I had enough money. Honestly, quite a few things happened while I was awakening. First, we'll start with Cernix, which I would have fought him earlier, but it just didn't let me for whatever reason. I also went to go get my dodge reflex because I knew I was going to need that, and Jorund decided to be the fraud that he is, and that we all hate him for, and sink my boat. Because he is a piece of shit. I don't know what else to say to that. But eventually we got our reflex, and we got our Wood Conjurer Awakening, and we are ready for the Nimbus Sea. And as some of you might know, the Nimbus Sea is going to be a big upgrade. You know, the Bronze Sea is kind of like Duck Life. Pretty small, simple, but they're still got their challenges. And you go to the Nimbus Sea as a new player, it's like you're playing a Souls game, man. Balance this shit out. We got reeled in by some pirates, and after beating them up, I stared them down with my eyes of God, and they surrendered. We needed to figure out what was going on here, so we continued searching around, and I fought some quartermasters, and then... Not too sure what happened there, but let's go fight Maria. Maria went down, honestly, pretty simply, and we've beaten every boss so far first try. This is honestly, so far, easier challenge than I thought it would be. We move on, head to Samaria, and a bunch of other stuff that doesn't really matter, and bam! Sky Hall. Not too much really to say here for the Sky Hall, other than this race that I had with this guy. I don't know if we were having a race. It felt like one, but, I have to say, I won, and, you know, if I ever see you again, I expect, like, I don't know, 1k drachma. You know, I thought it was a pretty fair race. But other than that, it was just the Alanon fight, which honestly went pretty well. Did I die with Alanon on 10 HP? Yes. Was I also nearly on full HP when that happened? Yes. Did I throw really heavily? Yeah. Really bad. I thought that was a good enough fight, so I ended up just cheesing him the second time. He was on 10 HP. I think I earned that victory. With Alanon down, there's nothing else for Skyhall, and the next thing is for us to go fight Ivar. There's really not too much to say about this, except for the fact that I thought he would be a lot harder. I did end up using the shadows to help me beat him, but later on, I find out that I could have just soloed him no problem. With him defeated, that was the end of the challenge. There's nothing else to really do for us. But, as I said, I could have soloed him, and I did actually try that out, so here's that footage as well. Now, I could finally say the challenge is over. Beating Arcane Odyssey with Arcanium weapons was actually pretty easy, but the whole test of this was to test them out since they're brand new. So I guess the question is, are they good? In my opinion, they kinda suck. Yes, they have the spells and skills and like that, but you can't configure the spells in any way, and it's honestly pretty useless for a conjurer when conjurer can just use any magic shit they want. They don't have limited spell slots like mages do. They're just handicapping themselves for having less skills in favor of spells that they could already use, not to mention configure to make better with their magic. Now for mages, this could be pretty useful because they do have limited slots. It's just the only downside is you can't configure the spell at all within the weapon or change it out at all. And they also really clog up your inventory, I noticed, which is really annoying because they all have these different, configurations on them. But overall for Conjurer, I say it's pretty ass. For Mage, it could be useful that you just have like an extra way to use Blast or an Explosion that you didn't before. But generally, I don't think they're that worth it and we're a little overhyped. I'm not mad that they're in the game, but it was underwhelming. Either way, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know what your takes on the Arcanium weapons down below. And other than that, it's been Shadow Vixen, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.